Noswaith, good evening everybody, and welcome. Croeso I San Steffan, that's welcome to Westminster. Blwyddyn newydd ar, Happy New Year. I've got to share with you that Trudy is one of my favourite MPs. She has really encouraged me, particularly as a new MP when I arrived here in 2019. A very, very friendly face, so supportive. But nuclear, you've really encouraged me in the nuclear sector. So you've got an Honest Loud mug. This is a panad with Virginia. We've actually got water in there at the moment. We've just done a marathon of votes, haven't we?
We have indeed.
Absolute marathon of votes. And a couple of things I wanted to highlight. Firstly, in Hansard for last Monday, which is our first day back in 2024, I had the first question actually. And so the first words in Hansard in the House of Commons in 2024 are Blwyddyn newydd ar, Happy New Year. So Welsh, it's fantastic. And a couple of things I just wanted to highlight. We've got some dates in the diary. Please sign up for my regular e-newsletter. Thousands across the island do receive it. So if you don't receive it, then please do sign up. You'll see all of the events that I'm running. We've got the Secretary of State for DWP, Mel Stride, coming on the 8th and 9th of February. We're doing a big fundraiser in the evening. We've got the Honest Loud. You've got a fantastic Honest Loud mug there, and we're doing a fundraiser for the John Cave Memorial Fund for local school children, and that's at Braid's Bistro in the Holyhead Golf Club. That's £25 to £30 for a 2-course menu. And then on the Friday we've got Disability Jobs Fair at the Holyhead Town Hall. It's my 4th jobs fair. I've done one for the over 50s and a couple of others. So that's going to be an excellent jobs fair with my brilliant DWP team. So do please come along to that, or if you'd like to have a stand. And then on the 9th, also Friday the 9th, I've got a surgery, and that's going to be in Bedorgan in the afternoon between 2 and 4, and then a free defibrillator training session 5 till 7 at the Con Club actually in Holyhead. And the fantastic Laurel Knight, who runs Medic One, is going to be helping us with the defibrillator training on Friday the 9th of Feb, and it's going to be free. Other dates, I've got my 4th Freeport seminar on Friday the 8th of March, and that's going to be at the museum opposite the Waitrose in Menai Bridge, Porth Eithwi. And then slightly longer ahead, the 8th of June, I have booked the Carnarvon, the sports centre in Holyhead. I'm doing a summer activities fair, so if you'd like to get involved with that, if you're a company or a business or a family, you'd like to get involved, then please do drop me a line. And last but not least, Holyhead Pride in August. We're going to have a Pride event on there, so if you'd like to get involved with that, do please get in touch. Now, Trudy, I was going through a list of everything that the government has done for nuclear, and it's been a pretty busy time, hasn't it? I think the first conversation we had about nuclear was the Boris Johnson's 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution. Remember?
I remember being in the tea room, and we were talking about nuclear and about what we could do together. And to be honest, at the time, was I Boris's PPS?
You were.
So I was unable to speak in the chamber or ask questions. And I really missed that, because it's brilliant to be the Prime Minister's PPS, and it's fantastic to be a minister, but it really affects your ability to speak in the chamber, and then your constituents don't realise what you're doing, because so much of what you're doing is happening behind the scenes. So the fact that you came in, I mean, it was just a huge star in the alignment of stars of this government getting behind nuclear. And then, remember the discovery that we both had the Ladybird book?
We have, yes. I've got mine actually up here. The Story of Nuclear Power.
Yeah. So we have been just brilliant, I think, as a team. The Atomic Kittens. And when you think where this government has come from, the end of 2016, we had Jeremy Corbyn leading the opposition, really dead against nuclear. And that is the reason I'm here, because the previous MP for Copeland, really pro-nuclear area, just completely disagreed with that philosophy and stood down, triggered a by-election. So that is the reason I stood up.
Yeah.
And I was brought up in the village closest to Sellafield, which is in West Cumbria, the world's most iconic nuclear site. And very much knew the benefits of nuclear power. The only proven large-scale, low-carbon energy generation that works 24 hours, 7 days a week, almost anywhere on Earth. That's basically what Bill Gates says on page 86 of his book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. Yet, as a government and as a country, we were lukewarm at best on nuclear. Just before Hinkley Point C got to FID, which is the final investment decision, we decided to have another review. Anyway, we've come a long way, and it is absolutely, in part, down to Virginia. I mean, everybody knows about the W word. Wylfa.
No,
Everybody
honestly,
knows.
Trudy, honestly, I think we are.
We're a good team.
We're a very, very good team. We need to say hello to a few people. So we've got Fionn Gwen. She runs a fantastic shop in Clondalkin, and she kindly lent me an elf hat. Actually, I was Santa's helper in Chemice just before Christmas, and I had a fantastic glitzy elf hat with sequins on. We've also got the Great Outdoor Depot, Noswathar, good evening. And we've got Nigel, fantastic Nigel, who does, he makes lovely marmalade actually. And we've got Jenna Evans, Noswathar, good evening. Jenna, I hope you've had a fantastic day. So hopefully we'll see a few questions will be coming through. So tell us a bit about, you won Copeland in a by-election, didn't you? How did that actually happen?
It was all about nuclear in so many ways, because I felt we didn't have a government, we didn't have an energy policy, we didn't have a plan, and I knew the benefits of the 80-something thousand workers, nuclear workers in the country. About 27,000 of them live and work in my area. But Moorside, as it was at the time, was looking dicey and indeed died a death. So when we were thinking who could stand for Parliament, it was actually friends that suggested just go for it, and I did in January 2017, and by February 2017 I was the newly elected first ever woman in my constituency, first ever Conservative woman in Cumbria. And first Conservative MP for Copeland, which was amazing. There were local issues as well, but it was very much to get into Parliament, to put nuclear at the top of the agenda, because I know pretty much all of the grand challenges we have in society around high quality apprenticeships and well paid jobs, around jobs outside of London and the South East, around the whole levelling up agenda. Of course there's no credible path to net zero without nuclear. Of course, if we want energy security, it's nuclear. So many of the grand challenges can be solved with a good nuclear policy. But also, as I found out when I became a minister in transport after being Boris's PPS, if we want to produce enough hydrogen to drive the really grunty trucks, because electrification is super for cars and for small vehicles, but if we want to power the trains, the planes, the big trucks of the future, we're going to need something like hydrogen. But you've got to produce that hydrogen. And of course, you can use nuclear power to power the electrolyzers to produce the hydrogen to propel the trucks of tomorrow.
And if we've got anything to do with it, hydrogen from nuclear will be pink hydrogen. Pink hydrogen. And of course, on Anglesey, we've got the Holyhead Hydrogen Hub. £4.8 million of UK government investment. Now we need to say hello to a few more people. We've got Carl Williams. It was Carl's birthday last Friday, so Pemblewed happy birthday. I was meant to have dinner with Carl on Thursday, but he wasn't very well, so I hope you're feeling an awful lot better, Carl. He does a fantastic job. He's got an absolute brilliant hotel and restaurant, the Sandy Mount in Rosnogan. He does an absolutely excellent job. Frederica John, we're desperate for Wylfa now, as residents of Unismore have just received news of the council's nearly 10% increase in council tax. We've got Llywelyn Wharton, Noswaithar, Avon, Virginia. Thank you so much. Lots of kisses there. Thank you. Hi Blodwyn, I hope it's going well up in Amlock. I actually sent a birthday card to my godson that I'd actually bought from your shop today with some fantastic dinosaurs on. I think it was Valerie's card. Ken Chalice Jones. Hi, sorry, been unwell for 6 weeks, but back now. Ken, it's lovely to have you back, and thank you so much for going out to bat for me all of the time. I really do appreciate that, Ken. We've got Nigel. We've got, let's have some questions. Fionn saying, really worrying about council tax. Carl says he's well now, which is great, and he's raring to go. So have we got any questions, team? I think something to ask Trudy is when I go around the island, young people say to me they want to be able to have a good quality job, they want to be able to stay in their community, and they want to, it's important for the Welsh language, and they want to own their own home. And when I go and see a place like Hinckley, I meet the Welsh apprentices, and they want to come back. They want to come back to Anglesey. They're really, really excited about having new nuclear at Wylfa. And then so last Thursday, I had a really big announcement, didn't we?
We did. The Civil Nuclear Roadmap. And it was, I would say, an all-encompassing, comprehensive roundup of all that this government has been doing over the last few years. Everything from the advanced modular reactors, the small modular reactors, the gigawatt plus, which I know is what you're really hoping for, Virginia, in Westminster, because Wylfa is such a large site that can take gigawatt plus reactors. But also it was broader than that. The fact that Claire Coutinho, the Secretary of State, went to Springfields, the fuels piece, to ensure that we move away from our dependence on Putin's fuels and make sure we've got our own nuclear fuel.
£300 million investment.
Enrichment, absolutely. Brilliant investment for enrichment there and for, domestic supply, British jobs. But do you not think there's that concentration, all around the northwest nuclear arc? We were celebrating on Thursday because finally we have one document, one comprehensive, all-encompassing direction on nuclear. Is it going fast enough? If we were in charge, we would have our foot a little bit more firm on the accelerator, I think. Maybe too hard.
No. So we've got some questions coming through. So Carl says, if Wylfa isn't approved, how will the impact area for future investments, and what steps can be taken to maintain? Great question there, Carl. I mean, since the island elected me, I've been determined to bring good quality jobs to the island. That's the best thing I can do for the communities, and the best thing I can do for the Welsh language. And I'm doing everything I can to bring new nuclear to Wylfa, but also to make a success of the Freeport. The Freeport is forecast to have thousands of jobs and £1 billion worth of investment. And Fionn says, what do you think of the chances of having Wylfa here? Well, Fionn, in this the civil nuclear roadmap, there was one bullet point that really stood out for me, which was there are plans for another gigawatt site similar to the likes of Hinckley C down in Somerset and similar to Sizewell C in Suffolk. So I'm going to be doing everything that I can, and actually I was speaking to the nuclear minister today about it, to make sure that gigawatt site is Wylfa, and as Trudy says, it is the best site for new nuclear in the UK. The nuclear minister is two offices down, so I see him on a regular basis. And I've just heard, actually, from the tabling office that I've got a debate on Tuesday afternoon that hopefully you might speak to, 4 o'clock on Tuesday in Westminster Hall, and all about the civil nuclear roadmap and Wylfa, actually. But it'd be great to have you.
I will be there. Yes, there'll be some competition between the side and Wylfa, but it's a healthy competition. And I think the answer actually to the question is, it's not if but when, because how can we get to 24 gigawatts without Wylfa? How can we get to net zero without the 24 gigawatts? We just can't do it. There is no credible path without nuclear. And when you start breaking down how many AMRs or SMRs you would need to reach that 3 gigawatt kind of output that you get from, well, Hinkley Point C is 3.2 gigawatts, but that's the kind of scale we're going to need to achieve this, given that our advanced gas cooled reactor fleet is all coming offline.
I think all but one over the next decade. And I think you make a really good point. The 24 gigawatt from nuclear by 2050. That's a quadrupling of our current nuclear output. And Wylfa is a great site, but there's going to be many others if we're going to do that. And that means 25% of our electricity from nuclear.
And that's another really good point actually, because 25% of our electricity, but our electricity is only about 17% of our total energy demand. The remaining 83% is made up of heat and, really importantly, transport. So if we're going to use a lot more hydrogen, we're going to not need a lot more clean power to power those electrolyzers to produce the hydrogen. What are you going to use to do that?
Exactly.
So the answer to the question is, I am absolutely confident that Wylfa will be developed, that Moorside, that land adjacent to Sellafield will be developed, because they are the best sites, because they are the best communities, because we have got a track record of safely, securely safeguarding fissile material and being able to do it in a way with our local workforce.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then Carl says, thank you, Virginia. A lot of people I speak to, previously not Conservative voters, have done nothing but praise you for the work you do. Carl,
Right,
that's so lovely. The Great Outdoor Depot, is there a date that an announcement will be made about the building and where the nuclear power plant will be built? Well, hopefully as soon as possible, but it will be within the next Parliament, but hopefully we'll have news relating to it before then. And the Wylfa is a great gigawatt site, but also around the island we've got so many brownfield sites following decades of disinvestment under Labour. These are great sites for SMR, small modular reactors, and many viewers will remember that the original Wylfa was set up because of the Anglesey aluminium site, and that concept of having an energy source with a high energy use industry and coexisting them, so you're not getting the energy from A to B isn't such a long distance. And I think if we can do that with SMRs and have some heavy energy use industries like data collection, fertilizer production, cement, ceramics, desalination, if we can coexist those heavy energy use industries with SMRs, and of course Anglesey is one of the Rolls-Royce sites as well. So hopefully we're a great site for gigawatt, but also a great site for SMRs. I've taken companies such as GE Hitachi, who are in Canada. They've got SMRs there. They're very interested in the island, and KEPCO, I think, was mentioned in the chamber today. We've had Bechtel and Westinghouse, and obviously EDF, who are building Hinkley, and Sizewell C are interested. So a lot of companies coming to the island. Hi, Tony Williams, Andre. We've got Daniel Davis. I hope you're well, Daniel. Please give my regards to your lovely sister. Daniel says, thank you for your amazing hard work and dedication. Having got the free port for Anna Small, I'd say will be the final part of the jigsaw. Have we got hope in getting new Wylfa? Essentially, a lot of these quick questions coming through. Daniel nearly died recently. He was really ill. I'm so glad you're well. I was really lovely. I can't tell you how lovely to hear from you. Bobby Croy, Alan Roberts, we've got here. So many people watching. We have got Pat Crisp. Hi, Pat. Graham Gill. We have got David Huntington. Hi. Nosway Star. Good evening, everybody. Let's wait for a few more questions to come through. So, what's been your best thing that you've achieved for your constituency?
24 gigawatts.
Yeah,
has definitely been the big achievement across government. But generally, I mean, when I came in, we had big problems with our maternity service, so making sure that we got the investment on that. Local issues, because I've always lived in West Cumbria. I hope I go out of there in a box.
Aww.
I definitely would never want to leave. And it's similar, I'm sure, to Anglesey. It's coastal.
Have you been to Anglesey?
No.
Oh, you've got to come and see me. Yeah.
Have you been to Sellafield?
No. We'll have to do a swap.
We should do it.
We went on a great trip to Finland together, didn't we?
We did.
That was a brilliant trip.
That was a bit of a revelation.
That was on an island as well. We're on an island.
Yeah, and all of their energy systems were privatised.
Yeah.
And to kind of understand how well that's working, 40% of their energy comes from nuclear, and their bills are 70% cheaper. 70. I learned that off Andrew Bowie during the civil nuclear roadmap debate.
What was interesting, because obviously there's been a lot of debate today about council tax. Now, companies that invest in the area, they pay into the municipal for the municipality, for the area. So the families and the residents in the area, they get deeply discounted council tax bills, essentially, because they've got all that nuclear investment there.
And when you think how cold it is,
yeah,
in Finland, I mean, it's hellish cold in London at the moment, but Finland is another level. So with a good supply of clean energy, always on, clearly it makes sense. But I think we really are getting there. And when you go through the list of achievements, from the nuclear sector deal to the 10-point plan, I mean, credit to Theresa May, because she was the one that got the commitment to net zero by 2050 in, and that's given us a real focus. But then also the 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution by Boris, the sovereignty, the absolute determination that we'll fuel our own reactors. That's been driven by multiple cabinet members. But I think, you know, Rishi and Claire Coutinho and Andrew Bowie committing to one holistic plan.
That's fantastic.
And a decision, you know, a final investment decision by 2029 on a gigawatt plus site. You know, that's really exciting. I think the fact that we've got a
nuclear minister for the first time, I mean, that is just absolutely brilliant. And also Great British Nuclear, which is headed up by Gwen Parry-Jones, who lives on the island, and we all absolutely love her. Carl is going to Finland next week. Wow, that's great. Hi, Candy. Daniel says, I've got to ask, I was asked a while ago, what do you think of having a new hospital built on Arnismore? Now, we don't actually have a hospital on Arnismore, and I've launched a campaign for a new medical centre in Holyhead, and it's a real challenge because, as you know, we've got 2 bridges, and one of them closes in heavy weather. There's been no investment. The Welsh Government has cancelled our 3rd crossing, which we were hoping to have to give us that sort of transport resilience. And so, you know, I can't get, you know, people worry about getting an ambulance because they can't get onto the island. So we hopefully got a campaign for a medical centre. So Daniel, great question there. And Kate Madden, hi Kate. Colin is there. Oh, hi Sue. We've got Sue Williams. Show Sue your mug. Actually, she'll like your mug. There we go, Sue. Honest Loud mug. Sue, lovely to have you on board. Hopefully we're having lunch together on Saturday. The great outdoor day. Would the building of power stations on Anglesey create both direct and indirect employment for the local communities? Absolutely. It's forecast around sort of 9,000 construction jobs, and then around sort of 800 you know, good quality jobs going forward. So it will be really transformational, not only for Anglesey but for North Wales. Julian Cox is watching.
I think we've learnt so much on that, because we have suffered from a boom and then a bust. We've got 7 reactors. 7 reactors on Sellafield.
Wow.
And we've also had huge plants built, like Thorpe, the thermal oxide reprocessing plant. But I don't think we've quite grasped and captured all of the benefits. And I think what has been done at Hinkley Point C is a really good example, building that National College for Nuclear, ensuring that you've got thousands of apprentices trained up in the local area with transferable skills, because construction doesn't last forever, but making sure that those highly qualified people can go on to another regulated environment or be able to stay in the area because they've got a qualification. If you've managed to get a degree without debt, you've been able to earn whilst you learn, which is what an apprenticeship provides. That doesn't just support the construction of a nuclear power station or even the operation, that supports the whole community. And I think we've really learned from the building of previous power stations and previous infrastructure projects how to harness the benefits. So it's not a legacy. I really don't like that term. I think a legacy is something that a dead person leaves behind. Whereas a springboard really kind of catapults you into future prosperity.
We've got Brian Owen watching. Blwyddyn newydd dda. Happy New Year, Brian. Fion says, do colleague men I still have courses for people to skilled in the event of war happening? That's something we're working on. I've actually got Urenco coming on Thursday to colleague men I to talk about careers in the nuclear fuel sector. So looking forward to that. We've got
certainly will be now, because it was millions of pounds. 300 million.
Oh, we got Gwen. We got Gwen Parry-Jones on here. Hi, Gwen. Lovely to love you. I did a I was asked to do a talk yesterday, and it was about motivating women leaders, and there were lots of nuclear women on the call, and we all agreed we had a bit of a crush on Gwen, so that's good. Lots of people from Anglesey. So I think we probably should be thinking about winding up. Just say my next guest, which is actually going to be Tuesday the 30th. On a regular basis, we get to take champions to number 10. And so my champion for January is going to be Dougie Fowley, who is from Aberfrow. He's a councillor there, and he does a brilliant job in terms of grassroots football, really outstanding. And he does this annual duck race, actually, which is excellent. So Dougie's coming to number 10 with me, and then I hopefully he'll come back here and do a Facebook Live. So thank you everybody for joining. Really lovely, particularly lovely to see you, Gwen. And until next time, Tana Tronessa.
And goodbye from me.
Joking around.
That was fun.
Yeah.